Every day, your screen lights up with images of border patrols tightening lines and headlines shouting about mass deportations. Yet beneath the noise and political posturing, there's an untold story, one written in hospital corridors, tech campuses, neighborhood storefronts, and military bases. There are entire nations whose people America simply cannot afford to send home, not because of any loophole in the law, but because, without these immigrants, vital systems would grind to a halt. Hospitals would run short of nurses, tech giants would struggle to innovate, small businesses would shutter, and even our strategic alliances could wobble. Imagine the ripple effect if thousands of caregivers vanished overnight. Elderly patients left without help, families scrambling, and long-term care wings forced to close beds. Picture your favorite neighborhood bakery suddenly dark, the ovens cold, and friendly faces gone. Consider a lab lacking one key researcher, setting back life-saving breakthroughs by months. These aren't hypotheticals, they're the real-world stakes behind every quiet community we rarely see in political debates. Below are the list of those untouchable Asian communities. We'll start with groups you might think of first and move toward ones that will surprise you the most. Each story will show you why uprooting these individuals would not just be unfair, it would be foolish. So watch this video till end, because by the end of this video, you'll understand that these aren't faceless statistics. They're the people whose daily contributions hold up pillars of our society, in ways most Americans never even notice. Number 10. South Korea. South Koreans aren't just K-pop stars and chipmakers. They're running dry cleaners, bakeries, language schools, and skincare boutiques from Los Angeles to Atlanta. Over 200,000 live here on student, work, or family visas, but their real impact goes far beyond numbers. Picture a Saturday morning in Koreatown, LA. Families lining up for freshly baked hotteok, students cramming in hagwons after school, and elderly customers getting a soothing massage before heading off to work. Behind every storefront is an immigrant who built that business with their own hands, employed local staff, and paid taxes that support our communities. Meanwhile, Seoul anchors our military strategy in Asia. U.S. troops train alongside South Korean forces, sharing intelligence and technology that keep our Pacific interests safe. If politicians ever targeted Korean nationals, they'd risk fraying that alliance, and they'd face angry business owners protesting empty storefronts on Main Street. Imagine a world where every Korean bakery in your city shut down overnight. No warm pastries, no part-time jobs for students, and a glaring reminder of how woven into our daily lives they really are. Number 9. Malaysia. Malaysian students in STEM fields and H-1B tech specialists quietly power America's labs and startups. They arrive on F-1 visas to study chemical engineering at Georgia Tech or bioinformatics at Stanford, then transition to H-1Bs, designing new drugs or coding algorithms that shape your social feeds. They don't spark headlines or protests. They code, research, and teach, often pulling all-nighters in lab complexes or co-working spaces. U.S. universities compete fiercely for their tuition dollars, and Silicon Valley companies send recruiters to Kuala Lumpur just to convince them to join. Meanwhile, Malaysia's moderate, economically stable reputation makes it a trusted Southeast Asia partner on issues from counterterrorism to trade. If mass deportation ever crossed a policymaker's mind, they'd have to explain why America cut off a pipeline of talent-fueling breakthroughs in biotech, renewable energy, and advanced materials, fields that are key to our future competitiveness. Number 8. Nepal. Imagine thousands of Nepali caregivers moving from Himalayan villages to our nursing homes and long-term care centers. They arrive on student or temporary work visas, then stay on to fill critical gaps in elder care. This community has one of the lowest crime rates of any immigrant group in America. They work quietly, often 3 shifts a day, with little recognition. Take Lakshmi, for example, a Nepali CNA in Boise. She learned basic English on YouTube, then trained on the job, and now teaches other Nepali immigrants how to give insulin injections and monitor vitals. Without her, and the dozens like her, nursing homes would run out of staff, forcing families to scramble or pay exorbitant private care rates. Politicians know that admitting their importance would expose how fragile our healthcare network really is. That's why you never hear congressional speeches calling for Nepali deportations, because doing so would admit just how dependent we've become on these quiet heroes. Number 7. Thailand. Thai massage spas, family-run restaurants, and wellness clinics anchor neighborhoods in Houston, Honolulu, and beyond. Many Thai immigrants arrive through marriage or family sponsorship, weaving themselves deep into community life. Their businesses employ not only fellow Thais, but local staff, creating jobs that ripple through block after block. Imagine walking down a Houston street and not feeling that soothing warmth from your favorite Thai massage therapist after a long day, and the staff who rely on those tips suddenly out of work. Or picture the family-run Pad Thai diner where everyone knows your order by heart, closed without warning. Politicians know targeting this quiet, well-integrated community would leave glaring gaps and spark consumer outrage no campaign strategist wants to face. Their low-profile and family-first approach make them an invisible glue holding many small business districts together. Number 6. Japan. Thanks to a visa waiver agreement, Japanese nationals breeze through ports of entry. Around 400,000 live here as students, corporate employees, or family members, and their footprint is enormous. From the software engineers at Silicon Valley startups to the financial analysts on Wall Street, Japanese professionals are at the heart of industries that generate billions in revenue. Consider the example of Michiko, a Japanese robotics engineer in Pittsburgh, whose work on prosthetic limbs has transformed lives. No one in local government would dare threaten her status by suggesting deportation. Mass removal would rattle one of our strongest bilateral relationships and jeopardize thousands of American jobs tied to Japanese companies, from Toyota to Nintendo. Beyond business, cultural events like anime conventions and tea festivals draw tourists and local fans alike, injecting money into hotels and restaurants. It simply isn't done. Number 5. Taiwan. Think of the devices you hold in your hand. Smartphones, laptops, even electric cars. Many rely on chips designed and built by Taiwanese engineers. In the United States, an estimated 200,000 Taiwanese professionals and students power our semiconductor labs and tech startups. They arrive on H-1Bs and student visas, then stay on to solve knotty problems in microchip fabrication, AI research, and clean energy technologies. Pull them out overnight, and you'd see production lines halt, R&D deadlines blown, and consumer electronics shortages that echo back through every sector of the economy. Beyond tech, Taiwanese scholars teach at leading universities, from bioengineering in Boston to data science in San Francisco, mentoring the next generation of American innovators. They launch biotech firms working on cancer treatments, renewable materials startups, and cybersecurity products that protect critical infrastructure. At the same time, Taiwan stands as a key democratic partner in the Pacific, and Washington cultivates close ties through trade agreements and security dialogues. Mass deportation of Taiwanese nationals would not only undercut our technological edge, but also strain one of our most important strategic relationships. No policymaker in D.C. has the stomach for that kind of disruption. Number 4. Indonesia. Indonesia may be half a world away, but its people have quietly become indispensable here. More than 180,000 Indonesians live in the U.S., many arriving as students in cities like Los Angeles, Philadelphia, and Houston. After graduation, they transition into high-skill roles, tech interns at startups, consultants at global firms, or small business owners opening nail salons, cafes, and community centers that employ dozens of Americans. Take the story of Rena, who came to Boston on a Fulbright scholarship, fell in love with public health work, and now runs a nonprofit clinic serving underserved communities. Or think of the dozens of tightly knit Indonesian Christian congregations across California, whose community outreach programs fill gaps in social services. On the global stage, Jakarta is a linchpin in the U.S. strategy to balance China's rise in the Indo-Pacific. Mass deportations would derail local economies, break families apart, and send the wrong signal to an essential diplomatic partner. That's why talk of rounding up Indonesian nationals is all but non-existent in policy debates. Number 3. Vietnam. Over 1 million Vietnamese Americans form one of the country's most impressive success stories. Many arrived as refugees after the war, starting from nothing and building vibrant enclaves in California, Texas, and Louisiana. Today, they're behind corner stores, nail salons, medical offices, and even tech startups, often ranking at the top for household income and educational achievement among immigrant groups. Imagine shutting down a chain of Vietnamese-owned pharmacies in Houston or closing the doors of a Vietnamese-run medical clinic in San Jose. Patients would lose trusted providers, employees would be abruptly unemployed, and local economies would feel the shock. From a policy standpoint, Vietnam has transformed from a former adversary to a strategic partner in trade and supply chain diversification. Uprooting Vietnamese nationals en masse would damage both our domestic economic stability and our growing diplomatic rapport. It's simply not worth the cost. Number 2, the Philippines. If there's one group America could never touch, it's Filipino healthcare workers. 1 in every 5 foreign-born nurses in the U.S. is Filipino. And during the COVID-19 crisis, they literally held the front lines, often at great personal risk. There are over 4 million Filipino Americans across every state, but their strongest presence is in hospitals, clinics, and elder care facilities. Take Nurse Maria from Chicago, who worked 16-hour shifts when ventilators were scarce, becoming a lifeline for countless patients. Or look at how Filipino teachers and IT professionals staff underserved school districts and tech hubs. Beyond their professional roles, Filipino Americans maintain deep cultural ties through churches, festivals, and community organizations that serve as vital social safety nets. Politically, talk of mass deportation would be not just a moral outrage, but also a political disaster. Filipino Americans vote in growing numbers, and any attempt to remove them would trigger fervent opposition from both parties. It's an idea no sensible legislator would entertain. Number 1, Bangladesh. At the very top sits Bangladesh, over 300,000 Bangladeshi immigrants quietly powering our service economy. In New York, New Jersey, Michigan, and beyond, they're delivery drivers racing through traffic, warehouse packers ensuring shelves stay stocked, and small shop owners keeping our neighborhoods vibrant. They arrive through family sponsorships, student visas, or as asylum seekers. And many without full paperwork simply became so essential that enforcement agencies turn a blind eye. Imagine the chaos if thousands of delivery drivers disappeared, grocery store aisles empty, food delivery apps grind to a halt, and warehouse backlogs stretch for weeks. Construction sites would sit idle without Bangladeshi laborers, and mom-and-pop shops would shutter, leaving communities without affordable shops. Diplomatically, Dhaka maintains a neutral, cooperative stance with Washington. There's no conflict driving a crackdown. Policymakers know that any talk of mass deportation would expose labor shortages so severe they'd have to admit how dependent we've become on this under-the-radar workforce. And nobody wants that headline. If this video opened your eyes, hit the like and subscribe button so that you won't miss our next videos.